Very scary. Very scary. For the time that I was living here, I had no idea, so it's just all of a shock.
A neo-Nazi leader gunned down at his own home. Police say, by, are you sitting down? His own 10-year-old son. Did this man's devotion to hate and violence ultimately result in his own murder? Here is Jeff Hall at a 2009 white supremacist rally. Police say his son, whom we're not naming, shot his dad intentionally while the dad lay on the couch. This all happened May 1st. We're just finding out about it. It happened in the middle of the night inside the family's Southern California home. Police have not said what might have prompted the 10-year-old boy to target his own dad and shoot him dead. Hall was a married father of 5. He led a chapter of the National Socialist Movement, the nation's largest neo-Nazi organization. Here is a look at one of their typical rallies of hate. Fellow white supremacists posted a tribute to Hall on their NSM website. Hall openly bragged about teaching his son to shoot a gun, even with night vision goggles. Hall was reportedly open with his kids about his beliefs, and he hated just about everybody. Blacks, Jews, Hispanics, gays, and even women took hits. Did he ever suspect the biggest threats to him may be sleeping in the next room? Call me, 1-877-JVM says. What do you think happened here? That's 1-877-586-7297, straight out to former, emphasis former, neo-Nazi T.J. Layden, author of Skinhead Confessions. T.J., thanks for coming on. You knew Jeff Hall, the guy who was shot, according to cops, by his own 10-year-old son. What was your reaction when you heard this news?
Well, I was shocked there was a 10-year-old kid who killed anybody, but then you got to look at the way he lived his life. This kid was indoctrinated from the womb to hate everybody, and the only way to solve your actions or solve your problems is through violence. So if the kid had a problem with his father, he solved it with the only way he was taught.
I agree with you 100,000%. Kids hear the messages that their parents send, and they look at their parents' actions, and they incorporate that into their own life. So essentially, the dad was saying, get rid of people you don't like, get them out of here. And that's exactly what the boy did. Now, why would he have a problem with his dad? Do you have any idea? We're going to talk about his very, very troubled background in a second. But do you have any idea why this young man would have had a problem with his dad? It could have been, hey, go to bed at 9 o'clock, and that's what kids get upset about.
Yeah, I mean, he could have told him anything. He could have told him, you know, you're going to go to bed without supper, you know, you can't watch that cartoon, anything. Take the trash out. I mean, he taught his kid how to use a weapon at a very young age. His kid knew how to use it. And his kid was taught, you know, if you don't like somebody, eliminate them.
Jeff Hall and his first wife went through a very nasty divorce in 2003. Court records show they fought bitterly over custody of this young boy and his younger sister. Each parent accused the other of abuse and neglect. The kids reportedly lived in filth and without even much food. Ultimately, Jeff Hall got custody of the boy and ended up exposing the boy to his white supremacist beliefs. And he even trained, again, his son with night vision goggles and a gun, yada, yada, yada. Mark Eiglarz, criminal defense attorney. What happens to this kid now? Is he likely to be tried in adult court as a 10-year-old? I doubt it, right? So what happens?
Right. The law precludes him being tried as an adult, first of all. Second of all, he's actually going to be tried in front of a judge, which I don't necessarily like, because I'd like to see the kid somehow not come out of this that harmed. You know, some people just need a killing. I'm not saying he's justified, but the judge will make the decision. What's difficult is that the prosecutors have to prove that he knew right from wrong, according to the penal code. He is
reportedly going to use the insanity defense.
Correct. Well, whether he uses it or not, the burden is, it's unusual with this penal code. They're going to have to prove that he knew right from wrong. And, you know, he was taught hatred. He was taught the wrong things from a very young age. It's a very unusual case, Jane.
Wow, the best defense. I was taught to hate, so how would I know that shooting somebody is wrong? I was taught to shoot, I was taught to hate. Hang in. More on this really mind-boggling story. And then an Issues exclusive. Is a hateful rally by a bunch of hateful people. And tonight we are reporting that hate seems to have a boomerang with the leading white supremacist, one of the leading ones in the United States, murdered in his own home. And the real shocker is the killer. Police say it's his own 10-year-old son who intentionally just shot him dead while he was sitting on the couch. What role did neo-Nazi Jeff Hall's lifestyle and hateful beliefs play in his death? My big issue tonight was this an indoctrination to kill by father to son, which boomerang. Lauren, New York, I believe. Your question or thought, ma'am?
Yes, hi, Jean.
Hi.
I just want to tell you that you are wonderful, and
Thank you.
being an advocate for women and children, it's just fabulous what you do.
Thank you.
And I have two comments. I wanted to know, will he be tried as a child or an adult? And also, can the father be blamed because he's the one who taught him how to shoot a gun? Like
Mark Eiglarsh. Okay, well, we didn't have Mark Eiglarsh on that, but let me tell you this. Okay, I couldn't hear him. Go ahead,
Jane,
Mark.
I'm here.
Okay.
Jane, with 100% certainty, he will be tried in the juvenile courts by a judge, not a jury, and it's going to be incumbent upon the state to prove that he knew right from wrong, as opposed to in the adult system, he would have to show that he didn't know right from wrong.
TJ Layden, you were in the neo-Nazi movement until you saw the light and, thank God, got out of it. What do guys like Jeff Hall, and you knew Jeff Hall, how do they talk to their kids? What do they tell them about their beliefs?
Well, I think what you got to look at is how this kid was raised. I mean, I went to parties where they would hang black dolls like piñatas and have their kids hit them with sticks. They educate their kids and indoctrinate their kids on violence and hate. This kid, if he's going to be tried as a juvenile, he's going to need serious psychological counseling over the next 10, 15 years, or possibly totally de-indoctrinate him to all these things. If we don't, we're going to get a kid coming out of the prison system in the next 14 years that's going to be 30 times worse than what his father did to him. So, I mean, there's a lot of really sad things when you look at this whole case in a bigger scale.
Now, what about this whole idea that he grew up in filth and didn't even have food? Did you ever hear anything about that, TJ?
I didn't hear anything about that, but I did know that during their divorce and their fight, they were both going back and forth about some sexual allegations, too, about possible abuse that way. I think that, that this kid was just, whether he was physically abused or verbally abused, I will say this, probably 70% of the men I knew in the white supremacy movement when I was involved verbally or physically abused their families in some way, shape, or form. And like I said before, this kid was indoctrinated that violence is the only solution. The NSM code is basically, if you're inferior, you get rid of him. They believe in eugenics.
So he heard that, and he acted it out. And I think that's an excellent defense. TJ, come back soon. I'm so glad that you jumped to the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right. Casey Anthony's defense team.